Hey, how's it going? So, I'm going to read you some cards, but while I'm trying to figure out what the heck I did with them, I know where they are, but I got to pluck them away. Please observe my signs, and it looks like that one, it looks like that one is kind of getting flared out by the light, so let me just bring it in a little. Bring it in. I'm just going to bring it in. Uh-oh, what was that? Oh, okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, wow. That's not what I thought it was. What was it? Never you mind. So yeah, didn't get those cards out, did I? Well, how could I have the thing in my hand? The laptop thing. Anyway, oh, don't lose that page. First card I pulled was from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck. Oh, look, it's right side up for once. And, uh-oh. Darn it. Doggone it. I gotta pause. Too bright. Okay. Ooh, pardon me. So, the card I pulled from the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck is Empty Well, and the subtitle is Time to Replenish. And the number there at the top is 16. 6 and 1 is 7, and so this time I'm prepared. I stepped away to get something else, but I grabbed this in the meantime. And here's what it says about the number 7 as an angel number. The number 7 is a heavenly number and one that is a symbol of perfection and eternal life. Significance, interpretation, and spiritual guidance. I'm gonna just click on that. So, no, thank you. The numbers, this is what they have highlighted. Angel number 7 and its biblical meaning. The number 7 is a heavenly number and one that is a symbol of perfection and eternal life. The spiritual meaning of angel number 7 is linked to self-belief, intuition, and understanding that sometimes the best growth can happen under pressure. I mean, okay, no argument there. This number is a positive one, but life doesn't always give us lemons. For those who have been going through challenging times, seeing the angel number 7 can be a golden beacon of hope and a reminder that perseverance can lead to spiritual perfection. Hold on, center yourself, and know that the universe won't give you more than you can take. Turn to gemstone bracelets, worry stones, and other talismans to keep you grounded. Okay, so that was interesting. And then there's a numerology one here too, and I'm just gonna click on it. Angel number 7 meaning an amazing spiritual message. Let me get to the actual meat here. Oh wow, they're just really talking about numerology a lot. What? Oh, okay. This is like a lot of stuff. According to numerology, the number 7 represents faith, inner wisdom, spiritual awakening, intuition, and mysticism. It is linked to the idea of psychic abilities and reflects a deep connection to the higher realms of existence. So, I don't know if you noticed, but, and I have said this in the past, the numerology and the angel numbers, not the not the Amos and Andy, the angel numbers often or the meanings are very similar. But you know, I have also said that I don't always talk about the numbers, or I'll just mention it in passing and forget about it or leave it hanging. But this felt like I should talk about it. Okay, so this, oh, drat, and I can't, well, yes, I can show you. So, this card, I looked at it and I know I can read, it says empty well on it, but what I saw was a spiral, and even I thought spiral staircase, because look at, around the edges here, like if you had your perspective a certain way, that could look like steps going up, don't you think? So, I had on this music playing on this machine that I'm actually filming on, so I want to show you the picture that was in the window while the music was playing. It was on YouTube, so hold on, I'm going to pause it again because I really want to show you this. Oh, okay, it's going. Okay, so here's the well, whoops, that I showed you that I think looks like a spiral staircase. And then here was this thing that was on this, well, the channel is Meditative Mind, and that should give you a hint as to what goes on there. But the music was 444 hertz plus 528 hertz, cosmic entanglement, and its abundance and miracles that, you know, like a kind of a law of attraction thing. And I actually didn't put it on specifically. It was just sort of, I think it was an autoplay that came up after hours and hours of stuff, but I just noticed when I pulled the card like earlier, but when that came on and I looked at it, I thought of the card. I don't know, for some reason it seemed significant. So now I will read from the guidebook. Whoa! Speaking of spirals in this picture, if you look at I guess that's a reflection on the water, because this is a well, and here goes that perspective thing that's been kind of driving me loco. Well, not really out. I mean, not in a bad way. It's just like, wow. When you're looking at stuff, your vision goes kind of crazy. So anyway, because it's a well, I'm going to say, yes, that's whatever's at the bottom of that well that's left of the water reflecting the sky. But at the same time, if you look at that, it could be the sky that you're looking at if the perspective were flipped. But the reason why I'm saying sky is because it kind of looks like a star cluster, I think is the right term. And there seems to be like a spiral arm right there, and also right there. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, maybe you have to use your imagination a little more. I hope that that's clear enough. That looks like it might be. But those tend to move in a spiral. So the spiral staircase has a quantum spiral heart because it's in two places at once. Okay, now I can read the guidebook. Empty well, nothing here. Okay, time to replenish. Diminishing yourself for another. The empty well, wow. Is that like the diminishing yourself for another? Is that like you as this star cluster, which would make you impossibly huge. You, the figurative you. And then you give your power away to someone else and you become so small that you, boop, the perspective flips and you're at the bottom of a well. Maybe. Anyway, back to the guidebook. And this is the actual text. The empty well reveals that there is nothing for you here. Harsh. I think I say that every time. The well is dry, and the desert is encroaching on your once fertile garden. Wow. It is time to face the harsh reality and move on. Give gratitude and thanks for the abundance you have experienced, and let Spirit guide you to your next destination. The next might mean saying goodbye to someone or something, insisting on changing the rules of the game. Stop diminishing yourself for the sake of another. Making yourself small will not produce the results you want. There is a lack of reciprocity of give and take. The empty well tells you that it is time to reclaim what is yours and return what does not belong to you. The shadows cast in your direction are not of your... I bet it says own making. Making. No own, but making. I don't specifically remember that, but it is like the obvious next thing to say. Anyway, you do not need to react or respond to them, as they are not real. Simply shine your light upon them and see how it dispels them. These shadows are projections that you are confusing for reality. You may have been offered a shovel to help you dig yourself out of an uncomfortable situation. A bucket to drink from the well. Wow, I just saw this show. Where did I see it? Dang, and I don't even know how to go back and look this up, but I have to mention it because it was about this couple and they're, I think, newlyweds, and they're house shopping, so they go into this realtor's agency, and it's in Australia. So they're looking at these listings that are on the wall, and then the host, well, he ends up being a host of sorts, but the clerk at this shop comes up to talk to them, and he's strange, like, just right away. His hair looks like it's made from a plastic mold. His affect, the way he behaved and interacted with these people, was robotic. Like, you definitely thought, like, wow, is this dude an android or what? And, like, even, like, it looked like he had on makeup. I mean, obviously he's an actor, but it looked like, I don't know, like, almost like Pee Wee Herman, if Pee Wee Herman were some kind of robot puppet thing, you know, like, well, that's the best the description I can give you, but yeah, and he was just like really old-timey and the way he talked, but he was also very much like a judgy church lady, like that southern, like, fuck you when someone says, oh, bless your heart, and it looks like they're being nice and they really mean up yours. So he had all these qualities, and he was just like false and weird, and they both kind of were sensing it, but not really. Like, the guy kind of was, and the guy was Jesse. He was in Zombieland, and he played Mark Zuckerberg in The Social Network. I think Eisenman's his last name. I just don't want to get it wrong. That's why I'm hesitating. I will check. Let me make a note so I can put it in the... Now it's a cash box. Not collection box. What is the word? information box. I should really examine that because I want to call it a collection box so much, and now it's a cash box. What is going on with that? Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to totally blank out. Oh, I can't even like make a joke and hum some, music to entertain you while I'm trying to remember this guy's name. Okay, that's enough of that. No, no, thank you. No, if I do that, I will forget to do it. Put it right there. Okay, so, what was I saying? Oh my gosh. Come on, brain, remember. Oh, right. That movie that I found. So anyway, the guy is an American, that actor, Jesse Eisenman, I believe his name is. And I don't know that I knew anybody else from the cast because they were all Australian. But anyway, they end up taking this guy's really pushy advice to go look at a house in this new development. He's touting all these things that are so great about it, and like I said, the guy is kind of getting the vibe with this guy, but the wife isn't, and she's just like, oh honey, it looks great, it sounds great, we should go check it out. And anyway, they go to this development, and it's cookie cutter, and it seems to be uninhabited. It's like creepy, eerily empty and silent, and every single thing looks the same. Doesn't look like any. It's like, it's weird, right? So they go to the address that they're given, and they get in the house, and or no, before they get in the house, I think. Yeah, that's right. I think they can't get in immediately. This welcoming, I was gonna say committee guy shows up, but it's just one guy, and he looks identical to the guy in the real estate office, except that, like, maybe he's a relative, like a sibling or child or something like that. And he's also got this weird affect where they just sort of talk, and like they'll have questions like, why, where is everybody, why is this, that, and he won't have an answer, but he lets them in the house, and he like shows them around, and there's a whole like thing where both of these weirdo clone puppet robot guys, real estate guys, are big on like, oh, are you gonna have a family? Do you want a family? Because you can have a family here. It's a great place to have a family. Like family kept coming up, and they're newlyweds, and I think like, yeah, sure, they're young and they want to have a family, but it's not like whatever this dude's deal is, like, that's a lot, and wifey still kind of is not really too disturbed by stuff, but this guy leaves like supplies, like food in a box, and I think clothes, and they end up having to change from who they arrive as people. Like everything is like it's like weaned out of them, or it's trying to, is what the intent seems to be, and they're like trying to look around and like find like what's up with neighbors, and if there are neighbors, and trying to investigate everything, and also they try to leave and they get in their car and they just realize they're going around in circles no matter which way they turn, and they always end up right back in front of their place. And why did I start talking about that? Well, anyway, and I can't remember the name of it, so I can't recommend it, but you have the one actor's name, Jesse Eisenberg, in like part of the story, so I mean, I'll try and figure out what it was. Why did I start talking about it if I can't tell you where it is or what it is? Some people are good at finding things with very little information. Maybe if you're interested, you're one of those people. I don't know why I started talking about that now. Maybe it was the next line here that says, these shadows are projections that you are confusing for reality. Oh, and giving up your power. That's what happened when those people went to that development. They agreed to go there, and poof, there went their power. They went through hell. They eventually, there will be spoilers. They get out. It's messed up, okay? Okay, you suck at the emotion, but messed up in an interesting, good way. This is going to be a long one. Move along. So, back to this. So the shadows are projections that you're confusing for reality. You may have been offered a shovel. Oh, that's why I started talking about it. There's a whole sequence with a well. Oh my God, that's right. This guy, the husband in this show, they can't drive out, they can't walk out, they can't see a way out. Like, the guy gets up on the roof and is looking around, and it's just bizarre sameness as far as the eye can see. And so he starts digging a hole. I forget why, but so he's in the hole, and he ends up having to have buckets lowered down to him. And here it says, you may have been offered a shovel to help you dig out of your uncomfortable situation. Uncomfortable is putting it lightly, downright creepy in that show. A bucket to drink from the well. Because why does he need water? Because the well's empty. It has to be lowered down to him. Wow. Okay, moving on. I'm going. Is there somebody talking? No. I actually have a bar on here. No, it's just the link to my phone constantly chirping. Can you butt out? But you cannot dig yourself out of this hole. And remember that there is nowhere to be found. Oh, no water to be found in that well. Not enough to drink, but enough to reflect how much you've allowed your enormity to be shrunken and contained by this rickety staircase well. But, you know, actually being a staircase, you could just walk up the stairs and get out, right? Anyway, receive the empty well. Receive the empty well as a gift. Do not exert your energy and waste your resources by repairing the walls or mending the rope. Follow the watercourse way, the aquifers that run deep in the earth, and you will be led to a new spring oasis. You can find these underground streams, these rich natural resources, in the subterranean depths of your own heart. Well, not much gets in your own heart, like water or blood. No one's able to just, just go in there and unzip it and take a look and handle it or anything. I think it's a metaphor. Okay, I also pulled another card from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck, and it is Scorpion. So, some interesting things happened earlier after I pulled this card. But I'll tell you a few thoughts I had about it right when I pulled it. This Red Lobster commercial had come on, and it was just shrimp, all kinds of shrimp. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, do we have enough shrimp for that promotion? Like, out in the water? Just an idle thought, you know? And then I thought about, like, how shrimp is so much more preferred over not shellfish, like fish with fins, fish, and other kinds of, like, shrimp is preferred over lobster by a lot of people. Look, I don't know, it was just a thought. And then the next thought I had after that, and I've had this thought for a long time, roaches are like some kind of land shellfish. And then I pulled this card and it was all, the land shrimp that stings instead of punches you, right? So this was like early in the day when I picked it up, just this whole succession of thoughts, and I was like, okay, weirdo. And then I just went on and did the rest of my day. But over the course of my day, which includes watching a bunch of stuff, and I didn't specifically choose this. I am subscribed to this channel because I'm like, well, I'm doing two things. I've been advised in a number of different ways to read some Bible stuff, and I've been resistant to it because I'm not that kind of holy roller, you know. And I was brought up in like a religious situation, not strict or anything like that, like at all, except for when I was young. But you know me, I have thoughts about things. So I mean, the way I left the Catholic school was not under the greatest circumstances, and it wasn't because I had done anything. Well, I did do something wrong, I guess, but the main reason I got taken out was because of, like, I was being bullied. I forgot about this. I always forget about this because it happened when I was so young, but you know, I was coming home with like, I was getting my ass kicked every day. But the thing is, not only from just like other kids, other little girls, but they still could spank you in those days, and the nuns would like pick up that. Oh yes, I guess I have been meaning to explain this for a while. They had these chalk extender sticks, and they looked sort of like a pool cue with a piece of chalk stuck on the end of it, which I guess it kind of was, but the nuns called it an indicator, not a pointer. And they would spank you so fast over, like, and I thought it was nothing at the time. I still think it was nothing. Like, I really think that they had some appetites that weren't getting properly attended to, and like whooping kids fed that or something. Dude, I don't know. They would just whip you over nothing. Like, you had to tiptoe around. So there was that element. Luckily, I didn't have them in, like, my classes, except for the religious ones, or if you were in church, or if you had to go to the office for some reason. Because, boy, you could get in trouble for so many things there. And I was a good kid. But, there was also, like, my teacher was not a nun. She was a lay person, like just a civilian. But her daughter was in my class, and she would just get me in trouble. And then also, my teacher's niece was the yard monitor when you were on, for my grade, when you were like at recess or whatever. And she was always finding reasons to like spank me. So I mean, I was coming home all beat up, and my mom was like, "What the hell, man?" And then when she finally got it out of me, what it was, I don't know why it took so long. I feel like I would have just told her. But I think she just needed to see how beat up I was getting. So we went to the office to remove me from the school because you had to pay tuition too, and you know, beat up kid, a little more money towards the home budget, no brainer. And boy, I was ready to go too. But that last day in the office, the nuns were just scolding me, and I was so... First of all, they lied to my mom that I had done these things to deserve all the beatings, and I really hadn't done... If I did anything, my problem was I was a talker. But like, I hope you understand, like, all the beatings I'm describing, I didn't talk that much. I mean, I'm the dumb baby that can get burned 3 or 4 times before I finally get it. But I do get it. And, you know, it was not, I remember, I guess I blocked it out, so I don't think about it much, but maybe it's had more of an impact. But if I think about it, yeah, I was getting my ass kicked quite a bit. So we're in the office, and the nurse lied, or not the nurse, the nun lied about like what I had done to deserve all the beatings, and I said, "You're all gonna go to hell," or something like that. And my mom was also from New Orleans and went to the parochial school, and like the whole background, my background very Catholic, and every mouth in that room was on the floor. And then they called the priest in, and my mom was all, "Well, what's he gonna do? We're leaving." So we left. Like, was he gonna come in and spank me and my mom? But that nun was pissed. Hey, Ferris Fair, she whooped my ass unnecessarily a bunch of times. But let's remember, this was in 67. So again, they could still have corporal punishment, was what they used to call it, when they could beat your kid's ass at school. They just had open permission, so that was a thing. And boy, did they take advantage of it. But also racism. So yeah, it was like a black school, black neighborhood where I went, but except for my teacher, that layperson teacher, everybody else was white. So I'm not complaining about it. I'm not boo-hooing and like, oh, woe is me. I'm just telling you that's the way it was then. So that was a factor. I think what I'm saying is, enjoy the opportunity to whoop some black kid's ass, because, you know, some people were that way. Some people still are. But they're not as out in the open about it. I got all sidetracked talking about that, and I don't really know why, but oh, well, anyway, I needed to be reading scripture. Like, I just kept getting a message from, like, every direction, and I'm like, okay, but that is part of my resistance to doing that. That's why I was talking about it'll be the physical abuse at the Catholic school. So anyway, one came up from this channel that tells Bible scripture stories, and that's why it's interesting, is because it's presented as a theatrical piece basically, and it's reminding me of like what I learned over those years, and because it's not all garbage and it's not all bad, and it's very complicated. The Bible, understanding it, and my relationship to it, and the religion, and it's a whole thing. It's complicated. So anyway, I'm like, okay, fine, I'll watch this Bible stuff. So I have this channel, and I'm watching this thing that comes up, and it's breaking up the 7 seals. and that has the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and it explains the symbology of the horsemen. And the thing about it, and this is the narration, I forgot to look at like when this thing came out. I don't know if it's like, you know, concurrent with right now or if it's years old, but the announcer sort of like breaks the third wall, and he's all of these stories sound like right now, don't they? And I'm like, what'd you just say? But it kind of did. It had like the pestilence, which, you know, COVID, and we make a big deal of that here, and it has gone around the world, but there's lots of other pestilence happening. Like, we heard about Zika, and that's because it didn't affect anybody to the point of it getting on the national news. It just went out of our consciousness. But I think it's ripping through other places that aren't as well equipped to deal with it as America is. And man, there's always some kind of funky disease somewhere like wiping people out. But maybe the fact that it caught national attention makes a difference in this thing. And then one of the other ones was about all of the waters getting poisoned on the land, like fresh water and ocean water, and all of the life in it dying, and like just really like upbeat stuff, you know. But you could make the parallel to things that are going on right now, and it was eerie. But that's why they call it a prophecy, isn't it? Kinda. And hey, I mean, if you care about that kind of thing, which I kind of do, I do want like a peep at what's coming. And it is funny or weird feeling that like that is the source, and I have complicated feelings about the Bible too. Well, because so much of it is like, oh my God, how do I take this? It's a challenging read, right? Or just like I'm not reading it, but I'm watching it, and you know what I'm saying. So anyway, in this, one of the pestilences was the locusts, and then they start talking about scorpions, and I'm like, wait, what did you just say? So the locusts were these really scary. All of these biblical creatures are really, they have really frightening visage, you know? Like the angels have like 4 faces, and so these locusts, they had the face of a human with the teeth of a lion. They breathed sulfur and fire. They had the body of a horse, or was it a horse? Some kind of animal like a horse, or maybe a goat or something. And then a stinger tail like a scorpion. Yes, thank you for emphasizing the point. So, I don't know, that was just kind of like wah wah wah, a lot of scorpion stuff. So I looked up the scorpion, and then I should have done what I just did with my phone, so let me do that. I'm going to pause you again so I can say the right thing the right way. Hold on. Okay, so here's what I found about the spiritual significance of the scorpion. Scorpion spirit guide. When a scorpion shows as your spirit guide or spirit animal, it is time to step away from poisonous people and situations. Scorpion as a token animal is for those who believe in rebirth after death. Invoke scorpion as your power animal when you need a dose of determination. Scorpion symbolism: protection, independence, transformation, death and rebirth, fertility and sex. Power. Sorry, I'm pausing because I saw something earlier about that, but I can't bring it to mind cohesively enough to repeat out to you, so I'm just going to skip it. Power, solitude, intelligence. So, that is interesting. All of those things that it has to say about the scorpion, and I don't know, I was getting so much scorpion stuff coming my way today that I felt like I should talk about it. Let's see, ouch, what the guidebook has to say about our friend the scorpion. Passionate, competitive, tends toward isolation. Well, if everybody thinks you're gonna sting them and kill them, people just don't understand. The scorpion is a passionate and determined creature. Their career is very important to them. What is your career field? Do you think it's a lawyer, or do you think it's in security? I don't know why I said those two, but I'm going to pick security, because if you see somebody like a scorpion that you know has a stinger, even if it's just a sense, what are you going to do? You going to go up and start poking them with a stick? I don't think so. Sometimes the scorpion's heat festers. Oh, sorry. Their career is very important to them, as are a few select friends. Sometimes the scorpion's heat festers and they focus on an unresolved event from the past. Usually a situation where they were left feeling burned. Yeah, you gotta let that stuff go. The Scorpion card says it's time to come clean about your feelings so everyone can heal and you can get back to your usual fiery but fun self. When in balance, wild and free. Wild and free, fierce. When out of balance, jealous, resentful, unresolved. To bring into balance, honesty, forgiveness. Bringing all those dark matters into the light. You know, sometimes that stuff, sometimes that'll sting. But, well, I used to think if you got, whoa, well, you don't have to jump in my lap. I like you too. I used to think that if you got stung by a scorpion, that was it. You were just dead. Turns out, you may know this, there are different breeds of scorpion, so they don't all have the level of toxicity that can kill you, but they can be irritating. Like this looks like right here, no fun. It's red, it's inflamed, like fiery pain. So I wonder if that's not what the sting must feel like. Like if it doesn't contain some heat. And is that not fitting, I guess, for a hot climate creature? A creature native to a hot climate? And you know what this reminds me of, too? Like, the way that the sting is sort of, like, piercing this darkness that's all around. That kind of makes me think of, like, when you like stub your toe, for instance. Are you thinking about your foot all the time if you're not like doing something with your foot, like putting on a shoe or a sock or clipping your nails or whatever it is that you're focusing on your foot? But are you doing that like the rest of the time? Like how much do you not, or have you not spaced out and like been walking in a parking lot and thought, like, yeah, I got plenty of room, but your mind is somewhere else, and you stub your toe on the edge of one of those concrete little barrier bar things, and then you're like acutely aware of your foot. Like, oh my god, my toe, I seem to have sprained it or broken it. It's like out of the darkness of inattention because of pain, you're suddenly acutely focused on that area. And I wonder if, well, I already said that about the heat. I do, though. I wonder about that. And, yeah. And the other thing is, not only does it resemble like the body of a shrimp, if you just look at the legs and remove the tail and the stinger, there's also crawfish, because look at those, it's got little snappy claws in the front there. And I don't know if you're familiar with crawfish, but they also have that. And what do they call those? Mud bugs. So it's kind of like, it's not just me. Bugs and like shellfish are awful darn similar. It can't just be like an impression that me and this other guy who has. They probably are like land shrimp, and you know what I'm saying? I don't know why I'm talking about it. I know that I started off with shrimp as food, so wow, are we going to be reduced to eating stuff like this because of climate and stuff like that? Or is it going to be a reduction? Because I know in South America and Asia, well, in Asia, lots of bugs are eaten, and it's not a big deal. It's just like, I feel like a snack. Let's go get some grasshoppers. And they must be like kind of good, because lots of people eat them. I'm going off into stuff that has nothing to do, I don't think, with what I'm trying to talk about. Did I finish? Yeah, I finished reading that. So, what have we learned today, students? There was another thing that this circle and the other one that I showed you reminded me of, and it was I don't know if you will know about this because not everyone's into sci-fi, but there was a sci-fi movie that came out several years ago, and it has Amy Allen. No. Damn, what is her name? Well, anyway, it's called Arrival, and oh, is it Julianne Moore? I don't think it is. Maybe. Oh gosh, now I have to look at that too. Well, anyway, the lead actress in Arrival, I believe her name is Amy something, and I really like her, so it's a damn shame I can't remember. Like, the same as Jesse Eisenberg. It's all one. I can remember one of their names. Amy from Arrival. This is pathetic. Is this me going through dementia right in real time? I have to figure out what to eat or drink or whatever to make that stop happening, if that's what it is. I don't want it. I don't... Anyway, first of all, Arrival, it was, if you're into sci-fi, and maybe even if you're not, no, I don't know. I don't think it's a movie for people that are not into sci-fi. But, oh my god, get more complicated. It's a very good movie. It has a lot to do with communication. The beings basically present as a circle, and their language is, I don't know, it sort of looks like coming off the circle. So it's like a language we can see rather than hear. It would come off the circles looking like I don't even know, like something boiling or something moving, like some kind of fluid and some kind of chemical change that causes it to move around. So it didn't really look like anything. But come on, don't lose it. There were circles. What was I going to say about that? Because then it reminded me of a whole other movie. That's why I said I don't want to get complicated. I don't know. I think I have to get myself out of this quagmire and come to a finish here. But, how did I get lost? Give me something to remind me where I'm supposed to be. I don't. It's like it's a place where I feel like I don't know if we're all there, but I feel like most of us can be there, be persuaded to be there, or are ready to be there, and they don't know. And like precipices, I feel like are happening. And perhaps this is us. On one hand, we got things going on, and we need to be to ourselves and process a lot. And like, don't come too close and be poking us. Now's not the time. And like I've been talking about the sort of null period that I personally have just been going through, and one thing about that movie, Arrival, with the circle beings is, and their communication that I was having a hard time describing, it often went in like a continuous spiral itself. Like it was just going around. It wasn't spiraling, but the way that the communication looked was describing all of these interesting sort of features of movement, and it in a way looked like a spiral. And something I hear a lot is from other people reading cards is they'll pick up a card and it'll have like a spiral staircase, and they'll talk about us feeling like we're like walking in place and like not going anywhere, like that null period. But actually what's happening is we're processing information, and you kind of need to like in some way make an isolation, even if it's just like localized in your head, like maybe deflecting people that are coming too close and trying to interfere, because the processing process is the beginning of filling up what's been drained away and removed. Yay. God, I don't even know what I just said, but I think I finished. Thank you and good night.